Hey guys, it's June 1st. That means it's PTSD Awareness Month. So I figured I would come on and do a little video to tell you the differences between PTSD and complex PTSD. They're both trauma and stress related disorders. There's a lot of things that kind of overlap with them, but complex PTSD have some more symptoms and it's more ingrained. With PTSD, it's a one-time event. Like you get into a car accident or there's some natural disaster or something that was life-threatening or life-altering that happened once. Like combat vets, when they go out, their trauma is considered a one-time event. I'm not sure why. I don't know. But when I was first diagnosed, I was diagnosed with complex PTSD. And I had no idea what complex PTSD is. I thought that PTSD was, like I said, only for war veterans or somebody that's been through something huge. But complex PTSD is ongoing trauma. It lasts for long periods of time. A lot of professionals say that it's a childhood PTSD because oftentimes it stems from childhood trauma. But people that are in abusive relationships or any kind of long-term year after year trauma that they can't escape can develop complex PTSD. Just because you don't have PTSD does not mean that you have not been through something traumatic. Everybody is different. Everybody handles things different. Everybody's emotions are different. So the biggest thing that I have seen in regards to someone not developing PTSD is getting support, educated and timely support. Which is why I am constantly saying that we need to make sure that our children have support if they've been through something, because they're not going to forget. It gets ingrained in their brain and it becomes part of who they are. With PTSD, they have flashbacks, and their flashbacks are like they are right back into the same place. They see everything the same. It's everything. Whereas with complex PTSD, their flashbacks are emotional and a body flashback. When I have flashbacks, I can see what's right in front of me, but my emotions and my body completely feel like it's back into the original trauma or whatever that trigger had sent me into. With PTSD, you have intrusive memories, a lot of nightmares, negative thoughts that just come in out of nowhere. Could be perfectly fine, and suddenly something triggers a memory, and all of a sudden you're bombarded with negativity. That happens with complex PTSD as well. Theirs is just more emotional and body-based than it is memory, like completely seeing and being in that spot, in that space. PTSD and complex PTSD both have hyperactive and, sorry, that just popped right out of my mind. They're very on guard constantly, cannot relax, always looking for something bad that's going to happen. Hypervigilance. There, we got it. Both have it. With complex PTSD, it's more intrusive because there can be so many different things that trigger. So that's another thing that overlaps with both. They both can have anger outbursts. With complex PTSD, the anger outbursts kind of can come out of nowheres, and it's more intense than it would be with regular PTSD. With complex PTSD, so many times they are so overrun with shame that their anger gets pushed down and they're embarrassed to show it, but you can only push it down for so long and keep it under control for so long before it comes out. Your trauma is going to come out one way, shape, or another, and sadly, it does come out as an anger outburst with both PTSD and complex PTSD. With PTSD, they knew what life was like before the trauma, at least if they were adults. With complex PTSD, if it starts in childhood and it starts at a young enough age, their entire world is the trauma. Trauma becomes normalized. It becomes part of who they are. They don't have any sense of self, which is not usually a problem with PTSD. With complex PTSD, also, they have a lot of self-worth issues. Goes along with not knowing who they are outside of the trauma. A lot of them repeat it when they get older and get into the unhealthy relationships that they're used to, and the cycle unfortunately continues. With both PTSD and complex PTSD, there are actual changes in your brain. There has been CT scans done on someone with no PTSD compared to someone with PTSD, and there are physical changes. I can link some studies and all that down below. With the alarm system in your brain, it becomes hyperactive. It triggers the fight, flight, fawn, all those responses that it gets hyperactive. The smallest things can set it off. It shrinks the hippocampus, which is your memory sorter. It makes it harder to distinguish between old memories and new memories. It makes it harder to calm yourself down. It makes it harder to realize you're no longer in that horrible space. You are now safe. It's hard to distinguish between the two, especially when you become stressed or tired or overwhelmed. That was a big one for me. It makes it hard to be able to distinguish between what's happening right now and what happened in the past that I'm just having a memory of. The prefrontal cortex, which is the rational brain, becomes underactive. It disconnects the rational and the emotional brain, which leads to emotional dysregulation. Same thing. If I get stressed out, if I get overly tired or triggered, overwhelmed, I have a very hard time hearing the things that are being said to me and using the rational parts of my brain. Everything seems negative. Nothing seems positive. Anything that is a critique, even if it's done in a lovingly way, is going to upset me. There are a lot of differences between PTSD and complex PTSD, but there are a lot of things that are the same. You're not crazy, and there is ways that you can get help. I have gone a long way since I first was diagnosed 4 years ago with complex PTSD. And I know a lot of people that have PTSD, and we can really share a common bond on the way that our brains work now. The biggest difference that I have noticed with my friends that have PTSD and myself with the complex PTSD is that they knew who they were before the trauma, and I had no idea. So I don't want you to take these diagnoses, if you happen to have either one, as something's wrong with you. Your brain is an amazing thing, and it's doing what it needs to in order to protect you and at the time to help you to survive. And there are ways to show your brain that things are different now, that you are no longer in danger. Consistency is a big one. Having a support system that is knowledgeable and consistent and patient and willing to learn is huge. So I'm going to be trying to do some more videos this week to just tell all these different parts of it, the different treatments, the different issues that we can have that come along with it. If you have any that you want me to do, you can either comment below or just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to talk to you and do any kind of video that you would like me to do. Have a great day, guys. Happy June. Much love.